quarter at Gateway with two very different, distinct ends of this track. I'm sure this is going to throw a wrench into things.
It is and it isn't. You kind of have to drive this course like a road course. You have to approach it like you're driving a road course, but it's only got 2 left turns. But those turns are very different, and you have to know where you are on the track. And it surprisingly is very easy to get lost at where you are on this track. But it is a vast difference. We go from one of the biggest tracks on the schedule to now one of the 3 smallest tracks on the schedule. And I'm looking at the times right now, and just throw a blanket over the whole field.
Yeah,
first to last, less than a second.
Yeah, and that's a lot of guys. I think we have 27 here in the race tonight, so this is going to be a big and entertaining one. But a
lot of new faces too.
Yeah, there are. We're going to go through. We are going to go through some of them as the session goes on. But which corner do you think going to throw the biggest curveball to these guys? Is it the long, flat, sweeping turns 3 and 4, or is it going to be the tight, multi-banked turns 1 and 2?
Well, early on, it's going to be the middle of 1 and 2 when you're on fresher tires, because you're going to feel like Superman. You're going to think you can throw it too wide, and this track narrows going out of 2. So you run out of room very quickly. As the fuel burns off, as the tires burn off, as you have to start really playing with the weight jackers in the roll bar, turn 4 is going to become Calamity Corner, because you're going to think you can pick the throttle up, and the rear tires just aren't going to be there on a light boat of fuel, and you're going to see a lot of guys tearing off rear wings.
And that's definitely going to be something to watch for. Also something to watch for, their long pit entrances and pit exits here. It's not just the start of the front straightaway and the end of the front straightaway like you would see on a normal racetrack, a normal cookie cutter or a D oval. You have to enter pit lane at the backstretch, go through turns 3 and 4, and then exit out onto the backstretch in turns 1 and 2. That's going to be different and probably difficult for some guys here tonight.
It is. It's going to be something to really be mindful of, especially considering that there's not a lot of rubber on the entrance and the entrance road and exit road. Not a lot of rubber laid down, so there's not a ton of grip there. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of debris there that gets thrown around the track, as a normal race goes on. So you're going to pick up marbles, and it's very easy to loop it on those pit roads.
As we get qualifying started here, looking at Carlos Ruiz right now, who just starting his flyer. Carlos Ruiz in the 81 only put up a 25.4 during the practice session, as we see him coming through turn 3 as John Bowling, who I believe is one of the newcomers,
brand new to the league,
goes to the top. Yes.
And Mike Sturgill, one of the top in the hot lap session, goes right to the point. Good for him. See that. Good to see Tim Bates putting up a time there.
And solid time for Timothy Bates. He had a 25.0 in practice. Right now sitting atop the timetable with a 25.4. As we look at him coming through corners 3 and 4. Sturgill goes back to the top. Will Bates be able to beat him? He will better his time, but not his position. So Timothy Bates will sit in second.
How about Sam Cooper Bennett going 5th quick?
I was just going to say, is Sam getting on track right now? First lap wasn't great, only hit a 26 flat. Here he comes for his second time. And it's 25.47, so that'll move him up P4 by 3/1000ths of a second. Just shy of Mark Walker in the 00.
Good to see Mark back with the league. I believe he took last week off. Was not really feeling Spa, so good to see him back. Jeff Hollingsworth back. Dan Brazington. Look to see big things out of him. He was one of the few to go sub 25 in the hot lap session. So keep your eye on the 29 when he finally gets out on track for his qualifying.
Ernie Ludwig going into the top 5 and following up on Jeff Hollingsworth, who's on track right now. He's had a rough couple days here. The Paskey's Cardiac League on Monday had a late race incident that had caused him to finish a little bit. Ooh, as he hits the wall there out of 2 on his second lap.
And so he's going to be one and done for 7th quick.
Yeah, so he had that incident in Paskey's at Phoenix, forced him to finish a little bit further back than he should have. Last night had an issue in the Western States Racing League at Texas, and he had a winning car, ended up actually just outside the top 5 as Ronnie Osmer goes to 6. So he's going to be looking for some redemption here tonight, not starting it off well by pounding the wall with 2, qualifying them.
Yeah, that's definitely not the way he was looking to start tonight. But, Hollingsworth he's been around for a while. He knows what to do to make these cars last for, 140 laps. So look for him to move through the field at a steady pace tonight.
Ronnie Osmer, I believe that was his second lap. Yes, it was. Hit a 25.625 as he enters pit lane hard. So right now we are just getting to halfway through this qualifying session. Only 12 guys have taken a time so far. Michael Sturgill sits at the top with Timothy Bates, Mark Walker, Sam Cooper Bennett, Jeff Wubker in the 90 sitting in 5th place right now. Ernie Ludwig, as Dan Brasington, as you were talking about before, Tony, he jumps up into 5th spot starting his second lap.
Yeah, Brasington seems to have a handle on how to get around here. So, look for him to be towards the front most of the night.
We're starting his cool down lap, pardon me.
Okay, so looks like he's one and done then.
No, I do believe we missed. Yeah, we did miss his first lap. It was a 25.6 was his first lap. And then the 25.489, which he posted here. That was his hot.
Fifth quick's still pretty good.
Without a doubt.
But you got to be real impressed with. He was one of the only ones in practice to go sub 25 second. As a matter of fact, the only one in practice to go sub 25 second. So, when the green flag drops, look for Brasington to make a charge through the field.
Butch Davis on track right now, and down the back straightaway on his first lap. Scott Brinson also getting on tracks without coming out of pit road. He's going to reset and do it again as Butch Davis sets his first time. It'll be 25.448. That'll put him up to the top. So Michael Sturgill's...
Good to see that the new merch that Butch Davis bought this week is already paying dividends, as he posted in the Top Fuel Facebook forum earlier this week that he got his Top Fuel Racing as presented by ESBN t-shirt in the mail earlier this week.
There you go. And,
so you can get your very own at our Teespring store, teespring.com/ESBN. And Frank, I believe there's still a promo code?
Yes, there is. I believe it's ESBN20. If you type in that promo code, as Nate Siefker goes for a slide on his second lap, does have the pole by 1/100th of a second right now on Butch Davis, but I believe that promo code would be ESBN20 for free shipping inside United States for anything. I believe, what do we have? We have shirts, we've got coffee mugs, we have face masks, we have long sleeve
hoodies,
shirts, hoodies as well,
tank tops. I believe if you really want a throw pillow, we can throw pillows made. Don't worry about that. If you want something, just let us know. We put it in the chat. We'll try to get it for you.
Yeah, definitely put it in the chat. Seriously, because that's more feedback for us, the better products that we could get out for you guys. So definitely.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And that thing that we've been talking about the last few weeks, we're getting ever closer to Sam Cooper Bennett, myself, Byron Rodney, and Kevin Pasquich, owner of the Paskey's Cardiac Stock Car League. All 4 of us, when we hit, I believe it's 2,000 subscribers on
No, I think it was 3,000 on Facebook and
3,000 on Facebook and
1,500 on
15.
YouTube.
Yes, thank you. Yes, 1,500 on YouTube and 3,000 on Facebook, which we're not that far away from both of those. The four of us will be getting the ESBN logo tattooed on ourselves.
And also may as well point it out now, we are starting to become a lot more active on Twitter as well. You can follow this race using the hashtag, I believe it's
Top Fuel. Hashtag Top Fuel.
Actually, I think I'm trying to remember what I had. Top Fuel Series. Hashtag Top Fuel Series is the hashtag we use, and you can find us on Twitter at ESBN Official.
As Scotty Brinson uncorks a lap, 25.320.
Yeah, Chris Walker also put it in the 25.3s as well. Luis Gonzalez Nunez going in the top 5. So fast guys coming out late. We've only got a minute left in this session, and this is Brinson's second lap, by the way.
That was his first lap?
Oh, yeah, wow. That 3:20 was his first lap.
That's impressive.
Kieran Bergelli on his second lap hits the wall hard out of 2. Same exact thing that Jeff Hollingsworth did, and it's the same thing you were talking about, Tony, is you said you're going to feel like Superman going through the middle of 1 and 2, and you think you can push it, and that wall comes out and bites you.
The safer barrier really, where that safer barrier sits, it's an optical illusion. When you're in the car, you think you have more room than you do, and all of a sudden the car just starts to drift, and you're putting more wheel into it and more wheel into it and more wheel into it, and you're like, well, I either got to roll out of it or I'm going to hit the wall. F it, I'm going to hit the wall.
Kevin O'Brien is going to be the last car on track. He sets his first time. He won't set a second. 25.809 was his first lap. Got 2 seconds to get around, and I don't think that's going to happen. He gets into the entrance of turn 3. So we have 22 of the 26 drivers set a time here, as we'll go now through the grid for tonight's race here at WWT Raceway. Scott Brinson will be sitting P1. Alongside him will be Chris Walker, Nate Siefker, and Butch Davis, row 2. Luis Gonzalez Nunez and Kieran Bergelli will be in row 3. Gavin Hibbs and Michael Sturgill in row 4. Timothy Bates, Mark Walker make out row 5. Sam Cooper-Bennett and Dan Brazington make up row 6, Tony.
Row 7 is going to see Schwabker and Ernie Ludwig, with row 8 going to Raul Alvarez and Ronnie Osmer. Jeff Hollingsworth and Carl Burke going to make up row number 9, with row 10 going to see John Bowling and Kevin O'Brien. Carlos Ruiz is going to start next to Brad Truex in row 11, with Paul Crumry, Mark McFadden not taking time, starting in row number 24. Row 12. Row 13 is going to go to Diego Romero Ruiz and
John Fry.
John Fry.
Yeah, so those Crumry had a throughput issue during qualifying. He has come back in. Mark McFadden, Diego Romero Ruiz, and then John Fry's all did not set time. So while Tony is doing his race control duties here for the start of this one, and I just noticed that on the inside, down the front straightaway wall, the NASCAR Nationwide Series emblem down there, there's a throwback for you. As the cars have, for the most part, gridded up, and we are about to get this race underway. A couple of guys in the back have not gridded up, and we are rolling here for the start of round number 5 of the 2020 iRacing IndyCar Series. Just a reminder, for next week, we will be at Watkins Glen International. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to ask I'm gonna have to ask around. I'm gonna have to ask Tony maybe when he comes back in the booth here. Whether or not that's going to be on the NASCAR circuit or if it's going to be on the full boot. Then after that, we go back to another oval, a big one this time, at Pocono Raceway. And I believe, from what I've heard, that is going to be the money race this season, is going to be Pocono. So as the field makes their way down the back straightaway, only one pace lap here. Pace truck will duck off after turn 4. You will not see the drivers doing that in this race, as turn 1 is set to be wild and crazy as Scott Brinson leads the field onto the front straightaway. We are racing here at Worldwide Tech Raceway.
So as I in the sky tonight, I get to try to police how many faster cars these guys are using, because there was an oops when session went up.
As
the limit is going to be 1. If I notice anybody having to use the second one, they're going to just be parked, and they're going to take a one-way trip to Dairy Queen.
There you go. As field makes it cleanly through the first lap, Scott Brinson leading from Nate Siefker, Chris Walker, Butch Davis, and on the back of that group is Luis Gonzalez Nunez, up in the top 5. Oh, this swung around. I believe that's Kieran Bergelli. No, it was not. It was Mark Walker, who had gone around coming off of turn 4.
And that would be Luis Gonzalez Nunez, I believe, that collected it.
Gonzalez Nunez was up 5th, and Walker was behind that group. That was up the front. Ooh, there was somebody else that caught a piece of it as well. Raul Alvarez had spun after the fact. But he had gotten hit trying to avoid that accident. He had hit Jeff Hollingsworth and had gotten collected by Carl Burke on the front straightaway there. So a mess of things happening just 2 laps into this race here tonight.
I'll be right back.
So Tony goes and does his race control duties. So involved in that accident would have been Raul Alvarez, Jeff Hollingsworth, Carl Burke, and Mark Walker. Those are the guys that would have been involved right there. And if you didn't watch the Western States Racing League on ESBN last night, go into...
Who did you have in that accident?
I had Carl Burke, Jeff Hollingsworth. Those 2 were very minor. Mark Walker and Raul Alvarez. Those are the ones that we had in there.
All right, so
the 2 big ones were Alvarez and Walker, though. Hollingsworth and Ruiz, just little tiny nudges. We try to work through what exactly happened here, as we have one now coming down into the pit lane. Figure out who that is in a moment. That's Kevin O'Brien coming down into the pit lane.
One more time with that, please.
Kevin O'Brien in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's Kevin O'Brien just dropping to the tail end of the field. That's okay. How he... Kevin doesn't like to be towards the front early on.
And I don't blame him. In some cases, I don't blame him, especially this week when you've got all of the official series at Daytona.
Yeah, I saw a meme earlier this week. It shows a guy taking this balloon to dinner, and it says my safety rating, and he's whining and dining it, and kissing it. And all of a sudden, you look, and there's this monster over his shoulder that has a badge that says Daytona, pulling him away. It's like, yeah.
I believe we're going to have one more lap here behind the safety truck.
Yeah, because we are under a mile and a half, it is going to be 5 laps of caution. So plenty of time to catch up on your shopping on our Teespring store. It's www.teespring.com/ESBN, and the promo code is ESBN20, and you can get free shipping in the continental United States. That's the lower 48. So be sure to get your Top Fuel Racing presented by ESBN t-shirt, face mask, coffee mug, long sleeve t-shirt, hoodie, whatever you want to get. And if you've got ideas for what you want to see on our Teespring store, be sure to put those in the chat, and we will try to pass those along to the store manager for our Teespring store and get those taken care of for you.
Without a doubt. Is also just before we get back racing, Jeff Ludwig coming in and topping off with fuel. Brad Truax driving through to go to the back of the line. So if you're wondering about those guys and why they're going to be shown at the bottom of the timing and scoring pylon, that is why. So we should be doubling up here.
Lights are going out on the Chevy Silverado pace truck, the official pace truck of iRacing, as Scott Brinson announcing he is going to restart from the outside. So a little bit of strategy playing out right up now already. Is right now Scott Brinson, a man on an island all his own. He is representing Rated R Racing. You've got Nate Siefker and Chris Walker and Butch Davis representing NLR right around him. So, Brinson's kind of outnumbered right now.
And he's blocked out without a doubt. And he got a great jump on the inside for that restart as well. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of jump he's going to get on the outside. Now, he is the control car for this restart, so naturally he would get a better jump just by fact of knowing that when he wants to go. But Tony,
the one thing we haven't been able to do, and we didn't get to say it at the initial start of the race, but as the field works its way through the 3-4 complex, Scotty Brinson going to have the button. The only thing that's left to do is take one more tear off, pull those belts a little bit tighter, and let's try this one more time, because Grandpa, it's time to pop a Viagra. It's time to get it on at Gateway.
I was just about to throw that to you if you waited another half a second. As we get racing here at Gateway, a slow getaway from the middle of the field, but certainly not a slow getaway from Brinson, as once again he is shot out of a cannon and off and leading.
And that's something to be mindful of. He's got to try to get a gap between him and Nate Siefker. Those two guys are really, slugging it hand over fist right now for the championship.
And Brinson down the back straightaway took a weave to try to break that draft, as these two in just one lap have gotten a second clear of the rest of the field. These two are on another level right now.
They are, as the battle right now is between Karen Bergelli and Butch Davis. As those two guys, Bergelli goes for a ride.
There's Luis Nunez as well, flipping through the air, finally coming to a halt. Entrance to turn 3, but boy, oh boy, was that a big one. Bergelli's going to get away rather unharmed. He is missing the left front of his wing. But my goodness, Luis Nunez took a ride.
Yeah, that was a first you say it, then you do it kind of moment. And I dare say Bergelli's going to have to burn a fast repair simply because his rear wing is just about non-existent.
Yeah, no, in his suspension, he took a hard smack on the left side of that car, and it was just a coming together between the two as Bergelli and Nunez just kind of moved over into each other. And that's another thing you don't notice about that you do notice about this track that you don't see anywhere else, that slot in the back straight wall, that extends the backstretch a little bit, but it narrows back down. And possibly that played a little bit of a factor into that.
That's the biggest factor that played into that, because Luis kind of had to come over, because that's the entrance to where the haulers come in. And unfortunately, Kieran didn't give him room, and Luis, who was that caught a race car to the face?
I'm not sure. That might have been. Let's see here. That would have been, I believe, Jeff Wupker, who had caught that.
Yes, it was the 90.
Yeah. A big one from Wupker.
Good. Thank God for the aero screen, because that would have been a race car to the face.
Yeah, and we say that a lot as a joke, but that really would have been in that case. As none of the top drivers coming into pit, now there is no tire limit here, but the fuel limit is at 88%, so they can only brim the tanks to 88% of full capacity. Being only 12 laps in and doing maybe 4 to 5 laps in anger, that would not have burnt off too much.
Excuse me, sir. I'll be right back.
As we continue under caution. So let's just do a quick reset here for you. Scott Brinson leading, Nate Siefker, Chris Walker, Butch Davis, and Timothy Bates in the top 5. Michael Sturgill, Dan Brazington, Jeff Wupker, and Ronnie Osmer. Wupker did not sustain any damage from that, so he will remain in position. Ronnie Osmer in 9th, and Carl Burke will round out the top 10. As I believe that is Ernie Ludwig, yes it is, coming into pit lane. A couple guys following him. Going through the lane right now, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who has burned a fast repair, and Brad Truax as well in the pits. So we should have this lap and then one more behind the safety truck. Just 13 laps in, so we're still early, but you have missed one big wreck. If you are just joining us now, either on Facebook or on YouTube, and we thank you very much for that. For round number 5 of the Top Fuel IndyCar Series here at Worldwide Tech Raceway at Gateway Motorsports Park. Join the conversation for this race either on Facebook, on YouTube in the comments section down below, or on Twitter at ESBN Official using the hashtag TopFuelSeries to make your comments on this race. Including, who do you think is going to win this thing? We've seen Brinson and Siefker have rolled so far through about the 5 or 6 laps of green flag racing we have actually had.
I can't really make that call yet. I can definitely make that call, though, as we finally get further into the fuel run.
Make that call at lap 139.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's just as soon as we can get, longer than 2 laps in.
Yes.
I can probably make the call then, but until I see how these guys are going to react when the tires are whooped and the fuel's burned off, then we can figure it out.
Scott Brinson taking the outside one more time here for this restart, so he liked something on that outside lane. On his last restart, as the safety truck now ducks on off. Brinson with a big lead on Butch Davis and immediately goes, and we are back racing here once again from Gateway Motorsports Park.
Yeah, Brinson pulled the trigger as soon as he could get that car pointed straight and just checked out. Now it's up to Siefker and Davis and Walker to try to reel him in.
Michael Sturgill had a great restart. He's up to P4, now bearing down on Butch Davis for third position as we have a battle for the lead here, and the caution is out again, a car around in turn 4. Quite sure who that is. I think it may have been Gavin Hibbs. It was. Hibbs on the outside lane and just broke loose all by himself, backs it into the turn 4 wall. Gavin Hibbs, I believe, is a newcomer as well here to the Top Fuel IndyCar Series, was the winner in the iRacing East Series Super Speedway race at Talladega this past Friday. If you recognize the name, that's where you remember it from. Going around on his own, as we've only had about 5 laps in anger, possibly 6 so far here, and we're about to start lap 17, Tony.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately starting to smell like Phoenix. And if you weren't here for the race at Phoenix, that was a...
I quit twice that night.
A caution-laden race that night, and I believe from what we are seeing, the race restarts have been changed to single file.
They have. Yes, they definitely have. Race control has decided that because you guys can't run side by side right now, good luck.
I mean, that right there wasn't even an issue of being side by side. Hibbs was just off the lane and spun it on his own. And I would assume has taken a fast repair since he backed it into the turn 4 wall pretty hard.
That is correct.
But, I mean, that's the change. So instead of double file restarts, we are going to single file restarts now. I would assume for the duration of the race. This was something that Scott Brinson had warned about during the drivers' meeting pre-race, is that if this were the case, if this was starting to look like a caution fest early, that this change would come. So this is not something that has been, it's not a change that has been made out of the blue.
No, it's not. And also the 3 drivers that were charged, well, let me rephrase that. The 4 drivers that were charged with the 3 cautions, their name has now gone on a registry because there's something that we had spoken about after Phoenix. So it's kind of behind the scenes stuff, but those 4 drivers are going to get a talking to before the next race.
And you never want a talking to prior to any races.
One of them, I might just as well. One of the 4 drivers, I might just as well talk to my cat, because the cat will understand me better than the person that I need to talk to. But it is what it is.
Well, there you go. As should have about 2 more laps here under the yellow flag period here. As you can imagine, not much has changed. A lot of the positions that have been gained or lost have been via pit stops, and those who have wrecked. Seeing guys like Jeff Wubker, who started 13th, he's up to 7th. John Bowling, who started 19th, he's up to 10th. Carlos Ruiz, no relation to the old Phillies catcher, I would assume. Is up 12th now after starting in 21st. Diego Romero Ruiz is up to 14th after starting 25th. And a lot of that is for pit cycles because guys like Paul Crumry, Kevin O'Brien, Ernie Ludwig, Brad Truax, and Mark McFadden have all decided to come into the pits multiple times to start from the back. We are still at 2 to go. We want to thank all of you who are watching on Facebook and on YouTube here tonight for joining us, and hopefully soon we can get some green flag racing in for you guys. Certainly would want to be presenting racing, and rather than a bunch of pace laps. So we do thank the people who are in the Facebook and the YouTube chats as well.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you know when we're about to go live with the broadcast. And sounds like fun.
Exactly. And I believe one of our broadcasts, oh my goodness, our broadcasting schedule has changed a little bit since we do have a new dirt racing league on Sunday that we're broadcasting. And Tony, I believe you're the Pied Piper on that one, so I'll let you tell the people about it.
We do have a new dirt league coming. It is going to be Sundays. They're getting ready to start on the 20th. As soon as I get some more information, we will be posting that on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and I believe we have the other one. But field getting ready to go back to green, so Brinson going to have the button one more time as Siefker, Brinson, Siefker, Davis, Sturgill, Walker, Bates, Wubker, Brazington, Osmer, and Bowling, your top 10.
Yes, it is. As once again, we're going single file restarts now after having 3 cautions in the first 21 laps. So we are single file restarts from here on out. We were at double file. So now the field lining up as close to the wall as they can, since there's no passing on the inside before the start-finish line. More of a defensive tactic than anything. Pace truck is off.
You're not live, sir, because you are already green.
I am not live. There it is.
Brinson showing the way.
There we go.
Siefker's plotting in the second, all over his back wing right now as they haul it off into turn number 1.
Yeah, that top 4 are right up with each other. Brinson, Siefker, Davis, and Sturgill all right there. And Brinson making the dive towards the grass to try to break that draft.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to see the Indy Snake on a 1.25 mile track, but somebody just banged the wall.
Front forward by 2 as Sturgill takes 3rd position, and I believe Siefker's going to take the lead here as well.
He's working on it. Side by side into turn number, going to drop back.
Yeah, he did. I'm surprised as we go through 3 and 4. But Sturgill looks to be on it tonight.
Sturgill has found something, and he was the only one to go sub 25 in the hot lap section earlier. So, like I said, look for him to move towards the front or to stay great.
And that all this fighting here up in the front, that's brought Timothy Bates and Chris Walker up into the fray as we have yet another caution. I believe it might have been Diego Romero Ruiz. It was. Ooh, there was a big incident in turn 1. That's Ruiz, and I believe the 0-0 of Mark Walker, and ooh.
That was Mark Walker. That was Diego Ruiz, and Mark Walker has put it on the hauler.
Mark Walker done for the evening. Remember, he was a part of that first incident So his fast repairs were done. Also, that would be Gavin Hibbs. That's
and
his
Ernie
second
Ludwig caught a piece of that too.
Yeah, I was just going to mention him as well. But Gavin Ludwig could be done as well. His innocent bystander had nowhere to go on that one. And then you're right, Ludwig coming in and getting a piece of it later. But we started to get going. This would be like caution number 4 here in the first 25 laps of this event. Some cars in the pit lane right now. Find out who they are. Brad Truax. Oh, Truax has no front wings. I believe he found his way into that incident as well. Alvarez in the pit lane, Gavin Hibbs in the pit lane, Don Boland coming out. Alvarez is done for the evening. On page 2 of that notepad there, Tony, or are we still, is page 1 still hanging in there?
I'm currently almost to the end of the front, the first page.
How many pages did you say you had after Phoenix? I think you said there was like 6 or 7 pages after Phoenix.
5. I had 5 pages for Phoenix.
Now, is that a college rule notepad, or is that just a...
Say that again, please.
Is that a college rule notepad, or is that a like a post-it notepad?
It's like a detective's notepad.
Oh, okay.
Like the pocket size.
Yeah, okay.
But 5 pages front and back, and I write small.
Front and back. You didn't mention that after Phoenix.
Yeah, 5 pages front and back.
And 10 after Phoenix.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If you want to be technical about it.
Technically, yeah.
Now you're done with the one side of the first page now.
About 3/4 of the way.
Okay. So that's all you need to know as far as early drama here at Gateway, and there's only so much plugging of the Teesprings page, the Twitter page, the liking and sharing and subscribing at the YouTube and Facebook pages.
Well, here's an idea
we could do before it gets redundant.
Well, here's a good idea for you. Considering what happened Sunday and what we're running tonight, what are your thoughts on how the Indianapolis 500 ended? I got no qualms with who won, because he had a strong car all day and he was in the right position when it happened. But what are your thoughts about them not throwing the red flag?
If you see it in NASCAR a lot, when a medical crew goes out to a car and they know it's serious, the red flag immediately comes out. I think their reasoning for not throwing the red flag is, okay, we're going to have a 3-lap mad dash to where someone could get seriously hurt again. So maybe they just said, we'll end it. And of course, you don't want to see a prestigious race like the Indy 500 end under caution. That just leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth, especially with how many freaking commercials the US NBC audience had to sit through for that race. But that would be my only rationale as to why they didn't end it under green. Was they wanted to avoid that mad dash and the risk somebody getting hurt again.
And that was my thinking on the same thing. I'm like, Jesus, I hope they don't turn this thing loose again, because it's going to be worse than anything we've ever done in a simulator. It would have been almost on par with the when they brought the pro drivers in, the real world IndyCar drivers in for a running of the Indy 500 back in May.
Yeah, for the E race. Yep.
And the E Indy 500, and I don't think anybody survived turn 1.
Yeah, no, and that's especially with the way that race ended as well, with Lando Norris getting taken out by an IndyCar driver because he wasn't an IndyCar driver about to win the Indy 500. So that also left a sour taste in that event's mouth. Boy, the Indy 500 has just been bad this year all the way around.
Well, no, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I enjoyed the racing and the strategy as we're back underway.
We are.
I enjoyed all the strategy that I saw. I mean, I enjoyed the chess match, between teams. But yeah, there were a few too many cautions for my liking.
That was also, but I meant more as far as like a plethora of controversy as Siefker looks to the outside of Scott Brinson, now ducks it back to the inside, and Siefker will have the lead here as we hit the start line. Still hasn't cleared Brinson, but look at the run that Michael Sturgill got. He's going to have to back out of it because turn 1 is so tight.
Yeah, he wisely, lifted and gave Scott Brinson the position, but 30 thousandths of a second for Siefker at the stripe there. We've got a new leader. Now, what can Brinson do to try to get that lead back? As Sturgill, he's going to have to battle with Sturgill again.
Sturgill is on it tonight. As you mentioned, he found something. And whatever he found, he's liking it because he's going for that lead on the inside line, too, in turn 1. And that's not necessarily the preferred line around here. The inside line is flat and the second lane isn't.
Sorry about that. I was handling race control duties.
That's what I kind of figured. But that inside line, especially in turns 1 and 2, is not the preferred line around here if you really think about it.
No, you kind of want to be about half to almost 3/4 of the car width off of the curbing. So you get into the progressive part of the banking, and you can really carry some speed. So right about where you see Brinson, you see that if you go to the blimp view, you can see there's, next time around, you'll see there's a dark stripe. And where Brinson puts his left side tires is almost perfect. Because that's really where that banking starts to
spin hard into the wall. I believe
that
was 23 with Chris Walker.
And it was. No, it wasn't.
Oh, no. There's another car that looks very similar to his. Not Ruiz. Mark Fadden's around on the back. Yeah, he's around on the back. And they were well behind the incidents. There were 2 incidents this year.
Yes, there were.
I believe that was Carlos Ruiz, actually, was the one who spun it.
And yes,
Ruiz,
it was.
He got on the rumble strips on the apron. Boy, he crowded that outside wall. And he got hit hard. Is that the black car there?
Well, there's Mark McFadden in the 22 caught it, and then I'm still trying to sort this out. Bear with me here. Because there were so many.
Right, as Carlos Ruiz had come to a stop, Fries ran right over him. And then, as you mentioned, the whole Mark McFadden thing, McFadden was stopped trying to avoid the accident, and Truex just ran him over.
Yeah. So that would be Brad Truex who did that.
Yeah, it was. Just as if he didn't see him. And Truex was going to be in an incident there either way. He was either going to hit McFadden, or Ruiz was right in front of McFadden, so he was going to hit one of the two. McFadden McFadden with rear wing damage, so he'll be coming in and taking a fast repair. Well, we've had a full race already tonight. We're what, 30, working on lap 37 right now, and I believe the leaders all came in. They did, as we were dissecting replays there. All the leaders came into pit road. So we'll get you an updated running order here momentarily. A majority of the leaders came in. Nate Siefker, Butch Davis, Timothy Bates, Chris Walker, Jeff Wubker, John Boling, Kevin O'Brien, Ernie Ludwig, Luis Gonzalez Nunez. So the top 9 all stayed out. Now, for guys like Kevin O'Brien, Ernie Ludwig, and Luis Gonzalez Nunez, they have come in. They have changed tires. In some cases, they have taken fast repairs in some cases. But for guys like Nate Siefker, Butch Davis, Timothy Bates, Chris Walker, Jeff Wubker, those guys have all stayed out. And to be honest, have only done about 12 laps in anger on those tires. Tony's still doing his race control duties here for the evening. Again, this is looking, I don't mean to be disparaging, but this is
a clusterfuck.
Yeah, we're getting towards Phoenix territory here. But that run, these last 2 runs have gone long enough to notice a small trend. And that trend would be the top 4 or 5 break away. And then after a good 2 or 3 laps, here comes the rest of the pack up to start challenging. As we look at the cars pacing here through turns 3 and 4, we might have about 2 more laps under caution here from what I can see. And if you guys at home are starting to get frustrated with this, I'm sure the drivers are feeling the same frustration as well. So you're not alone in that. As the lights are out on the safety truck now, so we'll get the single file restart. Remember, the top 9 did not come into pit, and I want to say the top 5 have not been into pit lane at all. 6, 7, 8, and 9 have been to pit lane in some way, shape, or form since the start of this race. That is not the case for the top 5 drivers.
So
Nate Siefker. What was that? Okay. As we head into turn 3, about to restart this race one more time. Safety truck getting ready to duck on off. And you can see there's a little bit of a gap there between Ernie Ludwig. The cars in front and behind us. Nate Siefker immediately gets off to a big start, and he has left Butch Davis for chips, and we are racing once again here at Gateway. Cars file off of turn number 2. Luis Gonzalez Nunez was looking under Ernie Ludwig, trying to take that position away, then came under fire from Scott Brinson, and now Brinson is going to try to take
And we're back on the caution.
And the caution is out again.
Mark McFadden pointing the wrong way on a one-way street.
And he has a lot less of his car than he had the last time, and I believe that's the 71 of Diego Romero Ruiz.
That is.
And Ruiz, an innocent bystander, as McFadden got loose. Going into turn 3, lost the back end, and Ruiz, unfortunately, was there. So that might put an end to Mark McFadden's night. And with the way it's looking, top 5 may have been the smartest one of the group. Scott Brinson was not able to get around Ernie Ludwig before that caution had come out. As far as I could tell, the only pass for position was Luis Nunez and Ernie Ludwig at the start of that. I believe Nunez is coming in. Now, we saw Nate Siefker go down the access road earlier, but then ducked out. So some of the guys coming in. Timothy Bates is in. Chris Walker is in. 71 of Ruiz is in. Wubker is in. Nunez is in. So some of the top runners have come into the pit lane, and Nate Siefker and Butch Davis, I think, right now are the only two that have not come into the pits in some way, shape, form yet in this race. Working on lap 44 here at Worldwide Tech at Gateway Motorsports Park. Now Ernie Ludwig decides to take it in. We are under our 6th caution flag of the evening. Our longest green flag run has been about 5 laps or so. This race had started with double file starts and restarts. It has since changed to single file restarts, as it has been a race that has just not been able to get any sort of flow going. And just when you think it's got about half a chance, caution comes out. So Nate Siefker leading the field, followed by Butch Davis, John Bowling, Scott Brinson, Michael Sturgill, Ronnie Osler, Dan Brazington, Jeff Ludwig, Jeff Hollingsworth, and Kieran Brigelli. The top 10 here for this race: Carl Burke, Sam Cooper-Bennett, Carlos Ruiz, Paul Crumry, and John Fries round out the top 15. Chris Walker, Timothy Bates, Kevin O'Brien, Jeff Wubker, Luis Nunez round out the top 20. Brad Truax is the last car on the lead lap in 21st. Mark McFadden and Diego Romero Ruiz are 2 laps down in 22nd and 23rd. 3 drivers have DNF'd so far here tonight: Gavin Hibbs, Raul Alvarez, and Mark Walker. Those are the 3 that are no longer running in this race. We have completed 45 laps here tonight, working on lap 46, so we still have 95 of these to go. And Tony, if you look at the session time, we're 47 minutes into a 2-hour and 20-minute race. And last night, we had a time limit reach. Looking like we might get there again tonight. I thought Tony had come back. And I don't blame him. You know, it's.
I'm sorry, folks. I apologize. I'm trying to do double duty right now, as I am the eye in the sky for the series.
Yeah, that's what I was just explaining. As I understand, popping in and out, since he is raised that you are race control, and that it has been an eventful evening so far, and we're not even to lap 50. As coming up tomorrow night here on ESBN, you're going to see the Die Hard National Series from Bristol Motor Speedway. Getting down to round number 8 of their season. They have just 3 more races to go for season 1, and they will be on ESBN for season 2, which will start a couple of weeks after season 1 ends. On Friday night, I would dare to say probably the most exciting race that we have on the channel right now, the iRacing East Series Super Speedway Series, will be at Daytona in the trucks, if I remember correctly.
Yep, and we also
Friday
have
night.
the premiere of Figure 8 racing.
Yes, the Stars Figure 8 racing, which that'll be you and Dylan, yes?
Me and Dylan, with, I believe, Kevin,
Yep, Kevin
going to be joining us in the booth on cams.
As he is tonight.
Doing a marvelous job. Thank you, Kevin Cunha, for joining us. As Siefker pulls the trigger, and we are back underway.
Boy, oh boy, if you want to talk, if you go back to early 2000s Formula One, pulling a Sebastian Vettel, that is what Nate Siefker just did. And Scott Brinson with one heck of a start. He's already up to 3rd place. And remember, he's on fresher tires than anybody in front of him.
And that's why he was able to make that move work on John Holman, because Holman still hasn't been pit side.
Yet none of the top 3 going into that restart had been to the pitch yet. Michael Sturgill following, Ronnie Osborne following, Dan Brazington as well. And I believe you misspoke before. It was Dan Brazington was the only one to get under a 25-second lap. He is now working his way up.
Yes, I do apologize. And I know we've got some big fans of Dan Brazington that join us week in and week out here on ESBN to watch the Top Wheel Racing Series. So hats off to you folks. Again, if you want, we can do a Let's Go Dan t-shirt for our Teespring store. And we're back under car.
Oh, boy. There's a spin in turns 1. It was a spin in turn 2. I'm not sure who it was. It was, I believe that was Carl Burke. Yes, it was. Losing it on his own. Coming out of turn 2, and that was just the back end coming out. That wasn't Tony, as you were mentioning earlier in this race. We saw a couple of times in qualifying guys just pushing out of 2 and getting into the wall. That was the back end coming around.
If we can get one of the high-speed drones to do a rear chase in the replay, if you watch, he actually caught the rumble strips, and that's what caused that car to really unsettle. He caught that curbing that marks the edge of the grass, and as soon as he did that, he was just along for the ride.
It's the same thing that started the last incident with Diego Romero Ruiz. Or one of the last incidences. I believe this is caution number 7 we are currently under right now.
And if you're playing the at-home drinking game, mind you, let's review.
Tony's mic cut out there. Nate Siefker and Butch Davis both in the pits, so they have now come in and honestly have fallen into the danger zone. But you put 52 laps on the fuel here, less the tires and more the fuel, that's, you're going to be getting close to out. As Tony, are you back with us? He is not back yet.
Sorry, I had a 4-digit ping spike for a moment there.
Yep, there we go. All right, so you were at-home drinking game.
So the at-home drinking game, the way it works is for the first caution to come out, you take 1 shot. For the second caution, you take 2 shots. Third caution, you take 3 shots, and so on.
Somebody has alcohol poisoning at this point.
So, yeah. We have done that before. We have played the at-home drinking game when we did 23 cautions in one of the old series that we still do. I'm not going to say which series it is, but it's a series that has been with ESBN for a while. 23 cautions at Martinsville.
I would like to take this time to point out that ESPN can be, but we're not liable for any alcohol-related mishaps that coincide with this race.
And we do not promote binge drinking, but we don't encourage it. But if you're going to do it, make fun out of it.
There you go. So I believe under the last caution we were talking about the schedule, and you had mentioned the Stars Figure 8 series that is going to be debuting on the channel on Friday night. So why don't you give us a little rundown of that one, Tony, if you're still here?
Yeah, what that's going to entail is I've known the owner of that league for 10 years now. We've run in different sims all over the map, and Irwindale was born and raised near the Irwindale Speedway, and had actually raced there in real life. Now currently running up in the Great North, up near Tacoma, Washington, but they're going to be using the Volkswagen Jetta turbo diesel TDI and the Mazda MX-5 Miata, the spec Miata that is free content with iRacing. So if you want to join the league, all you got to do is just buy the Irwindale Speedway, which Irwindale in itself is one of the better speedways that iRacing ever did.
Yes.
Considering that you've got the bullring layout for the infield oval, you have the half-mile outer oval, there's the figure 8, and then there's also what they call the combined course, where you run the outer portion of the track in turns 1 and 2, and then the inner portion of the track in 3 and 4. So it's very similar to the shape of Gateway, just a lot shorter, a lot smaller, a lot tighter, and a lot racier.
Now, last, what was it, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, the NASCAR Modifieds were at Irwindale, and I had an absolute ball. It's such a fun racetrack to drive.
That facility. Yes, it is. When you figure out that track, when you realize, okay, I've got to put my right side tires basically on the dotted lines going through the corners, and just let it eat on that outside line, about maybe half a car width off the wall. Just put it up there, let it eat, and go. And you carry so much speed around that track. It's scary sometimes.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's a little slick coming out of 4. But I'll tell you what might be a little slick coming out of 4 here is on this restart. As the safety truck comes in yet again, about to start lap number 56. Here's Scott Brinson leading it down, and we are green once again here at Gateway.
So we're already seeing some pit strategy start to play out as Siefker dropped to 17th.
Yeah, he was
because of going pit side.
Yep, him and Butch Davis both came into the pits there, already making their way up through the field is Nate Siefker trying to get around Ernie Ludwig
And we've got a battle for the lead as Sturgill looking to the inside of Brinson as they haul it off into turn number 1. Give that lap to Sturgill, actually, by 36 one-thousandths of a second.
Oh, and he's going to slide right up in front of Brinson coming out of turn 2, and he was not afraid. He put it right down to that curbing on the inside line. So Sturgill kind of forcing his way into the lead there.
And Siefker, I think I just heard Siefker say he's got damage.
I'm sure that's less than ideal. As here comes Brinson again for the lead. Scott Brinson a little bit easier this time than Sturgill took it going into the lead. And look at Ronnie Osmer. Haven't mentioned much of him here tonight. He's up into this. Started 16th. Is up to 3rd. Big swing to the bottom.
And Osmer sends it going into 1 side by side with Sturgill. Sturgill able to keep it wound up in that second lane, so able to carry a little more speed.
Sam Cooper Bennett involved. Carlos Ruiz involved. Sam hit the curbing and lost it.
What we were talking about earlier, where you can't touch that curbing because it's going to unsettle the hell out of the car.
This is exactly what I was talking about. I think it was 2 cautions ago. Right when you think this race is going to start to hit a rhythm, and just something happens. And unfortunately, I think for Carlos Ruiz, he has already used the fast repair here tonight, so his night might be over. This is Sam Cooper Bennett's first incident, as I believe he may have... Yep, he did overshoot the box. Has to back up. There's his fast repair taken. And he will just avoid going a lap down. Carlos Ruiz, unfortunately, could not suffer that same... Well, could not avoid that same fate. And to what you were saying before, Tony, I cannot readily see any damage on Nate Siefker's car. He still has both edges of his front wing. He still has both of the rear fenders that are in front of the rear tires. So I'm not seeing the damage that Siefker was pointing out. As I believe this is caution number 8 here this evening at Gateway, just about to cross the line to start lap 62. We have 140 laps in this event, so we are about 9 laps away from halfway. And if the first half of this race is anything to go by, unfortunately, this might take some time as we look to the rest of our programming schedule here on ESBN. So tomorrow night we have the Die Hard Grand National Series from Bristol in the Legends cars. Well, the Legacy Chevy and the Legacy Ford, the 87 cars. That will be tomorrow night. Sam Cooper Bennett and Tony and myself should be up in the booth for that tomorrow night. Friday is the Stars Figure 8 series that we were just talking about under these last 2 cautions. That will be with Tony, Dylan, and our producer tonight, Kevin Kanye, will be in there as well. Then me and Sam, on the iRacing East Super Speedway Series on Friday night. Then it will be Tony, Kevin, and Dylan once again for NASCOM on Saturday. The new late model dirt series league that Tony and Dylan and I believe Kevin, I'm not sure, but I know that'll be Tony doing the dirt late models on Sunday. On Monday will be the Paskey's Cardiac Series.
The Sunday League does not start until the 20th.
Okay, so we still got a couple of weeks to go for that one. Okay. I'm assuming that's you, Dylan, and Kevin.
Yeah, Tony. That's who the team will be. But yeah, they're going to start on the 20th. It's going to be pro late models, dirt racing, like a short track Saturday night kind of deal. And I'm looking forward to it. We're going to add a little more dirt content, and that's always welcome. The one thing that we do need to look into, though, Mr. What do you call it? Social media team leader. What would you say to dirt road racing? The trucks or the rallycross cars, something along those lines?
Sam and I have been trying to dig our grubby little fingers into a multi-class or a GT series. And we've been trying to work on that for the last month. And this is usually around the time that I'm noticing now that a lot of leagues are starting. So if anyone, if you're watching here and if you have a GT series or a dirt road series that you would like broadcasted, get in contact with us on Facebook especially. That would be the best and easiest way to make contact with us, as we're about to go racing yet again here. So just
the good news is we're closing in on halfway.
Yeah, we're going to be 6 laps away from halfway as we get going. Scott Brinson, Michael Sturgill, Ronnie Osber, Dan Brazington, and John Bowling, the top 5. There goes Brinson, and we are off and running again. Games we've seen all night long. The top 3 get the run, but it takes a good 3 or 4 laps.
And we're under caution.
And we are under another one. I think this one might have been Carl Burke because he is just disconnected. Oh no, Carl Burke just... You know what? I think what triggered the caution is Carl Burke had pulled over and stopped on the pit lane access road. And I think that's what triggered the caution. So for that,
unfortunately, that is what happened.
Yeah, so for that 1, maybe 2 seconds that he was stopped, that's what triggered what would be our 9th caution of the evening. John Bowling into the pits.
So Bowling finally taking it pit side. I don't think he has been into the pits yet. But, you take a look at Dan Brazington.
Brazington in the top 4, sitting in 4th right now.
Dan Brazington up into the top 5. Sorry about that. Again, trying to double duty, but so Brazington up in the top 5. Ronnie Osmer up into the top 5. Michael Sturgill up into the top 5. Karen Bergelli back into the top 5. This is starting to heat up real deep.
Yeah, and speaking of guys like Osmer and Brazington, those guys had all started outside the top 10. Osmer started 16th. Brazington started 12th. Jeff Hollingsworth is up in 6th position. He started in 17th. John Bowling now is going to be at the back of the field, but he was up there. He started 19th. So this field has been shuffled around a bit as we're seeing more cars starting to take it pit side. I believe that group is, and it is, led by Sam Cooper Bennett. That's Mark McFadden and Kevin O'Brien behind him. Jeff Wubker getting the free pass there, so he's 1 lap down now compared to the 2 he was, and he's the only car 1 lap down, so I'm going to feel like a fool saying this, but if another caution were to come out, he would get the lucky dog again. And he is actually the only car that is racing that is not on the lead lap. Carl Burke has called it an evening, as we saw. Brad Truax has called it an evening. And then we've seen Diego Ruiz, Gavin Hibbs, Raul Alvarez, and Mark Walker. Those guys have all called it quits as well. A couple of guys who had made stops off sequence from guys like Brinson and Sturgill. Timothy Bates has worked his way back up into the 7th position. Chris Walker has gotten up to 8th. Nate Siefker to 9th. Butch Davis to 10th. So those guys starting to make their way through to the top 10. Well, are in the top 10, starting to make their way towards the front of the field. Don Fries, who, if you remember, and I believe Wubker is going to get his 2nd lap back here, so he's going to get another pass through, and now everybody is back on the lead lap here. So 20 cars left running, 20 cars on the lead lap. And if you remember, John Fries, who was a part of, I believe it was the 2nd incident tonight, he took his fast repair, got a new wing, and he's up into 11th after not setting a qualifying time, starting stone dead last on the field. Pardon me. Paul Crumry in the 3 behind him. He didn't post a qualifying time either. He's up to 12th. So we are about to get this race going once again.
Just do it. Sorry, run button.
It's all right. So once the field takes the green flag here, that will be the halfway point. We are working on lap 70 right now. And this latest caution wasn't really an incident at all. It was Carl Burke stopping on the pit lane access road that triggered a caution. So Scott Brinson once again will lead it down. Michael Sturgill, Ronnie Osmer, Dan Brazington, Kieran Bruggelli, the top 5. Safety truck making the turn off. And we will wind it up again here from Gateway as Brinson makes the jump. And once again, the top 3 pull right away from the rest of the field. Brinson trying to break that draft out of the back straightaway. Michael Sturgill following him. Osmer letting him stay. along the outside lane, as we got a big battle there in the back, as that's Jeff Hollingsworth and Chris Walker. Walker takes the position. Hollingsworth letting everybody go on the inside, and that was Osmer and Chris Walker get into it, and Nate Siefker hard into the wall. A lot of damage on the 10 of Nate Siefker, and after about another lap or two, caution is out again.
Yeah, that was an ugly one.
Lost it. He was fighting for the lead. Who was that? That I believe that might have been Butch Davis. That Siefker had gotten into, and yes, it was Butch Davis. So, Tony, is my math right? Is this caution number 10?
This is caution number 10.
Yes, it is. So we've had 10 cautions. We're on lap 73, about to begin lap 74 right now. So we have had 22 green flag laps in total here this evening. This, unfortunately, and we never like to say it, but it's kind of hard to avoid at this point. This has turned into Phoenix 2.0 here. There were a lot of instances at Phoenix. I unfortunately missed the opening race at Homestead due to work, and then missed the third race at Atlanta due to work. But maybe I shouldn't broadcast this series, because the 3 races I've done, Spa last week, and Spa was, as you would assume, the type of racing that road courses bring. But the 2 oval races that I've done, boy oh boy, we've had probably a combined 25 cautions. Maybe I should just do the road course broadcasting for this series. It might be me. I might be the problem. I don't know. You got to figure something out.
No, it's not you. It's definitely not you, because I mean, there's been the thing is you got to remember that iRacing recently has thrown a lot of different changes at these guys. You know, it used to be, you know, fixed setup in an IndyCar, you couldn't change anything. Mm-hmm. Now you can play with the weight jackers, and you know, there's going to be times where guys kind of adjust themselves out of the running.
That and overdo it, or set the car up for a long run and then just flat out forget to turn it back. I know I've done that with setups and settings in the past, where you just flat out forget to reverse the changes that you've made, such as brake bias going into the pits, and as you were mentioning, the weight jackers and stuff like that for longer runs. Sometimes you flat out forget.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's definitely never a good thing when you do forget. But you know, this is not indicative of what I've seen out of these guys, because I know.
Oh no!
I mean, go back a couple of weeks, and you know, we went caution free at Atlanta. I think we had 1 caution at Michigan in the test races. You know, these guys know how to get it done. But when you this track, if you look at the front straightaway, if we can go to the helmet cam we've got on any one of the drivers, I think we've got one on Sturgill. If you take a look from the cockpit with what the driver is seeing, this track is very very similar to how I described Phoenix. It's like trying to drive down the hallway in from your dining room to your kitchen or your living room. There's not a lot of room to do anything.
Nope. And especially for passing, there's really only one line.
Right, and you've got to hope that whoever you're racing is going to give you the room that you need to not kill them. And that's what it boils down to.
I'm interested because we're starting lap 77 right now. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a lap counter counting down. My apologies. Never mind.
We are just working lap 76 right now.
Yeah.
And lap 77.
Lap 77, and I saw the lap counter on Sturgill's steering wheel said 65. So
that's how many laps till he's going to be bingo to fuel.
Left, yes.
Yeah, that's how many laps he's going to be bingo to fuel.
Yes.
But when you think about it, this is caution, what, 10 or 11?
10.
Okay, so caution 10. We've done 77 laps. 52 of those have been under yellow.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's excessive.
That's excessive, and that's not indicative to how this league normally is able to run.
Oh, very
true.
And
I'm wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I think we all are, because I remember the Pocono race at the end of last season. It was a very good race, and we're going to be going there in, I think, 3 weeks if these guys aren't off for Labor Day as we get racing again here from Gateway. Top 2 getaway this time. It's Dan Brazington in 3rd position. It's Brinson and Sturgill kind of in the tops right now. Trying to break the draft. Sturgill not letting him do it as they go through turns 3 and 4. And now here comes Brazington, and I'm not going to be surprised if it be a lap or two. Kieran Bergelli and Timothy Bates are going to be right on these guys. They already are.
And Sam Cooper Bennett just gave me a heart attack.
Did he?
Thread the needle?
Yeah, just a little bit.
But
as we look back,
getting racy. Yeah. So Paul Crumray and Sam Cooper Bennett going at it right now. I'm sorry, that's Mark McFadden and Sam Cooper Bennett going at it right now. As McFadden with a good run on the outside. That gives you battle for 11th.
That was Crumray on the top lane, letting everybody go. Is now Siefker and Chris Walker both get right around Sam, and Ronnie Osmer is going to follow them right through. So those guys, after being involved in that last accident, all 3 of them are back on the charge to get up to the front.
Yeah, so I'm kind of keeping an eye back there, but back up at the front, Brazington is giving Brinson all he can handle right now, and look for him to probably move towards the front. Oh, blows the entry to turn 1.
I was going to say, he's took that outside line, but that's going to help him on exits. He gets a little bit of a slingshot, able to keep that Galaro wound up. Unfortunately, it's not going to help him. Now he's coming under fire from Kieran Bergelli in the 98. Bergelli won the season opener at Homestead. If he's not careful, he's going to be coming under fire from Timothy Bates, as Jeff Hollingsworth is the last car in this 6-car group here.
Yeah, throw a blanket over your top 6, and there's a 3-second gap all the way back to Luis Gonzalez Nunez, currently sitting in 7th. And he is under attack from that's Carlos Ruiz and John Bowling right there as well.
And Luis Gonzalez Nunez has Carlos Ruiz under him right now. That is for the 7th position. And had to get out of the throttle there to keep from hitting Ruiz.
I think some poo just came out.
I would think so too, as Bowling now under Nunez. Now Bowling has been up towards the front, fell to the back because of a pit stop. And Luis Gonzalez Nunez started in 5th, so we know he's got speed in that car. Makes a big swing under Ruiz.
Ronnie Osmer, who's a lap down, currently slugging it out with Chris Walker, who's 2 laps down. So it's a battle for positions. They're following Nate Siefker is on the lead lap, but those guys are making a charge right now as Gonzalez Nunez and Ruiz still slugging it out in the number 6 slot.
And again, as I mentioned just a second ago, Nunez started in that 5th position, so he does have the pace to get up there, up at the front, still not missing anything. Those guys have stayed the same. Hollingsworth trying to look under Timothy Bates. Nothing much going on there, so it's a 6-car breakaway up at the front. And then you have about a 4 or 5-car breakaway at the back as Siefker is bringing that line of Walker and Osmer up with them to this group as Osmer gets under Chris Walker and takes the position.
And that's your battle for the lucky dog right there. Those guys are really slugging it out tooth and nail. They're still side by side, hauling up into turn number 1.
And those guys both 2 laps down, so not just 1. And Walker had to get out of it big time as he got into the rumble strips there at the bottom of the corner and then almost hit the wall coming out of 2. Allows Osmer to play a little bit. Sturgill back up at the front, trying to put on a little show of force. Getting a little bit closer to that 14 of Scott Brinson, I would say, Tony.
A safe bet, and I think what he's doing right now is he's just biding his time. He wants to keep Brinson within striking distance, and he's going to make his move after the money stops. So just kind of riding right now to see what that car is going to do in dirty air.
You mentioned before, I've been watching Dan Brazington here these last couple of laps. You mentioned before the 2 seams that are in turn 1, and a lot of guys are running the lower seam. Brazington is running the higher seam, and he's finding speed there. Remember, he was the only one that got into the 24-second bracket, so he's finding speed just above and on that upper seam.
You can find speed there. You get the extra speed off of 2. The only issue is you've got to time it just right, because if you're too close to the car in front of you, all you're going to do is wash up into the marbles, and then you're just along for the ride. But yeah, I mean, you can find speed. There is a turn 1 is actually it's not suck it right down. I mean, if we can go to the blink view on these guys, and I can kind of describe it. 3 wide, there's
going to be another accident. Osmer and Bowling. They were 3 wide going through 1 and 2. Chris Davis sliding up just a little bit. Osmer doesn't have a front wing. He's in the wall in turn 2. Oh, sorry, turn 4 rather. So Osmer coming off the way worse of that. He's going to have to come in and get a new wing.
He's going to have to get a new wing. Bowling's coming in for it. Bowling said he's going to burn his fast repair.
That's... We finally got some rhythm into this race. This is by far and away the longest flag run we've had this evening, with 50 laps to go. As Osmer finally...
And we've got a new leader, Michael Sturgill, to the point.
I was just going to say, and then following him through is Kieran Brighelli. So Scott Brinson surrenders the lead. Timothy Bates firing on Dan Brazington right now for 4th. Bad run through 1 and 2 for Bates. That allows Hollingsworth to get through. So now we'll see what Kieran Brighelli, we haven't seen him up in the front group so far tonight. Wonder what he can do as this run goes on.
And we're under caution again.
Well, there we go. There's our answer. Who could it be now? Who can it be knocking at my door? It was John Bowling. And we mentioned it right at the start of the race, mentioning that these pit access roads are narrow. There's a lot of junk on them. And Bowling spins coming out of the pit exit in turn two. And then has called it a night. Ronnie Osmond has called it a night as well, so he is done. That brings our DNF total up to 7 on the night. Mark Walker, Raul Alvarez, Evan Hibbs, Brad Truex, Carl Burke, John Bowling, and Ronnie Osmer. Those are the ones who are no longer participating in the race this evening.
And I now understand why the leaders said that was horrifying, because he spun right in front of Michael Sturgill and then tried to shove it up to the wall, and luckily he was able to escape from the session before the leaders got to him. But
now the leaders coming in.
That could have ended badly.
Yes, it definitely could have. And that's exactly what you mentioned. You said at the beginning of qualifying, a lot of garbage and just general crap gets on those access roads, and it makes it very hard to put the power down and get out.
Yeah, you can't just, as soon as you turn off your pit road speed limiter, you can't just mat it on the access road and hope it'll stick, because it won't. The only thing I can liken it to is, remember when you were a kid and you had socks on and your mom mopped the kitchen floor?
Yes.
And then you were chasing your pet through the house, and the pet goes into the kitchen and it's sideways digging for all it's worth, and you're sliding and going, oh, this is going to end poorly. That's what that access road feels like.
Is that risky business?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. That's about right. So a vast majority, I believe all of the top runners came into pit during that caution. Chris Walker stayed out. He will get the wave around to get his second lap back. That will once again put the entire field on the same lap. Only 18 runners left in this race after the departing of Bowling and Osmer. So to reset the field here, it'll be Michael Sturgill, Kieran Bergelli, Kevin O'Brien comes out in third place, Scott Brinson in fourth, Dan Brazington rounds out the top 5. Timothy Bates, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Carlos Ruiz, Jeff Hollingsworth, and Nate Siefker, the top 10. Butch Davis, Mark McFadden, Sam Cooper Bennett, Ernie Ludwig, and Jeff Wupker, the top 15. John Fries, Paul Crumry, and Chris Walker round out the remainder of the field. Under our 11th caution of the evening, here at Worldwide Tech at Gateway Motorsports Park, just shy of Madison, Illinois.
Well, it's just outside of Kansas City. Or sorry, St. Louis.
Yeah, but that's the Gateway Arch. That makes sense.
And the truck stop, if we can get the blimp view for a second, you'll see a truck stop across the street from the back straightaway. I've actually parked there and sat on top of my rig and watched part of a NASCAR race.
Speaking of which, when was the last NASCAR race run here. We could make that a trivia question here for the
Hold on, and I can get the answer.
folks. Because the last one that I can vividly remember, and I think any NASCAR fan will remember the incident with Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski here. That's one that sticks firmly in the minds. I believe.
Are we talking any NASCAR race?
Yes. Well, I would say of the top three touring series.
Okay, yes, because I'm looking at the results right now.
There's also the, I believe it was the Todd Bodine incident. One year, was that Matt Crafton that...
It was Crafton.
Yeah, it was Crafton that the two dive bombs going into turn one on the green-white checkers.
Yes.
So this track has provided a lot of great racing, and it's a shame that they don't come here anymore. And we mentioned on the grid, if you take a look at the inside wall on the front stretch, right at the start line is the old NASCAR Nationwide Series logo as we get set to go green here. Michael Siefker will lead it off, and we are running again here at Gateway.
What do you mean it's a shame they don't come here anymore?
It's great racing out of the top threes, out of the Xfinity and Truck Series races here.
I hate to tell you, but it's scheduled to be here on the 30th.
Oh, well, welcome back as Garrett Brighelli goes forward and will take it away from Michael Sturgill. Brighelli does have a win on the season opener at Homestead, looking to grab number 2 on the year, and Sturgill looking to take it back.
And here comes Brinson.
Well, that got close.
Yeah, I think I need a new fire suit.
It was a bad run from Sturgill through 1 and 2 that made that a lot closer than I think it probably needed to be. As they're 3 wide coming out of turn 4. Timothy Bates backs out of it.
Yeah, Timothy Bates, the winner of the last Top Fuel IndyCar or Indy race. That would be Luis Gonzalez Nunez? No, Carlos Ruiz is got a good run going.
He does, and now speaking of Luis Nunez, he has found his way back up into the top 5, running in 4th, and somebody had a big slide.
That was the Hollingsworth.
Big slide from Hollingsworth coming out of turn 2, manages to save it. And my goodness, look at this gaggle we have in the top 10 here. That's the top 9 all represented. You knew that was coming.
And there it is.
You knew it was coming. Boy, when you have 9 cars all within a half a second of each other, going into a tight turn like turn 1 where precision matters, that was just a matter of time. That starts with Bates and Brighelli. And that just clogs the track up for everybody else. And that's unfortunate for multiple drivers, as I don't see how in the world Siefker got out of that with no damage. He has to have something. Oh no, he made it through, did Siefker. He made it just under. Wow, talk about being in the right place at the right time for Nate Siefker. Made it through clean on that. Trying to look and see who was involved. Again, it started with Timothy Bates and Brighelli. and pretty much everyone behind those two. I mean, that's Ruiz
Dan Brazington
involved.
catching a huge piece of that one.
Yeah, that was Ruiz involved. Nunez, Butch Davis, Brazington.
Brazington's the one that did his best imitation of Dan Weldon. Too soon?
Yeah, I think, and Mark McFadden. Oh, Mark McFadden put himself into it.
Sam and Jeff Hollingsworth both caught a piece of it.
John Fry's also in it. My question to you, of the group that you could tell, and of the names that I mentioned over there, how many guys have used their fast repair tonight already?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
I meant just in that ret, not out of the entire field.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And
that was lucky for Siefker to get out of that as well, because he had used one already, we know. And he was, again, just the right place at the right time. Boy, oh boy, it has been a full night here tonight. Timothy Bates back out on track, 1 lap down. Mark McFadden still in the pits. Luis Gonzalez Nunez still in the pits. Brazington coming out of the pits, 2 laps down. Kieran Bruggelli still in the pits, 2 laps down. Ruiz,
Kieran Bruggelli is out.
Carlos Ruiz has called it a night. Diego Romero Ruiz has called it a night. And we were just mentioning, too, how good a night Carlos Ruiz was having.
So, Carlos, if you're listening to the replay of this, you can get your hate mail coming. That is Frank Marchese, New York, P.O. Box OICU 812.
Here's a name we haven't mentioned too much tonight. Paul Crumry.
And there it is.
Yeah, Mark McFadden done.
So, Paul, I can probably take you to the CBS studios in New York if you want to just like completely punch Frank in the ding ding, because I think he just jinxed you, bud.
Let's calm down on that one here. And you were the one that brought up Carlos, so let's hold off on that one.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the name you just mentioned.
Oh, no, I know. So you jinxed the last one. Now it's my turn to jinx one, so we're even. Crumry did not put in a qualifying time. Started 23rd. He's up to 4th. I believe he had one minor incident. I'm not sure if he's used a fast repair or not. I don't think he has.
I do not have him on my list. Yes. No, I don't.
So Crumry he's going to work his way into a solid run here. A restart here in 4th as the lights go out on the safety truck. What page of notes are you on right now?
2.
Front and back?
Page 2. No, I'm starting the back of the single page.
Oh, okay. Oh, so not quite as bad.
All I'm doing is writing down who I think burned fast repairs.
Oh, okay.
That's all this is who burned fast repairs.
2 pages of fast repairs.
There
you go.
2 pages of people who got caught up in dumpster fires.
So to reset really quickly, Scott Brinson, Michael Sturgill, Nate Siefker, Paul Crumry, Sam Cooper Bennett finally cracks the top 10. He's in 5th. Butch Davis, Kevin O'Brien, Jeff Hollingsworth, Jeff Wubker, and Ernie Ludwig, the top 10, as Brinson sends them going again.
Green, 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 green.
And what a jump he got over Michael Sturgill. I'm not live. There it is.
Oh, somebody's spinning off in the back. I believe
Crap.
that's Butch Davis. It was. Green flag is still in the air. We have not seen a caution yet. As boy, oh boy, Butch Davis went for a ride. And you've seen a couple of guys go for that ride tonight. Loses it by himself.
And we're back under caution.
And there it is. Not sure what that one was for. It might have been. Was it for that incident, Tony? Let's just see. Sam Cooper Bennett might have throughputed here. Showing one lap down, and I have him locked, and I cannot see him. So Sam Cooper Bennett might have throughputed here, which would bring our DNF total up a little
threw
bit
the
more.
caution
Yes.
to make sure that the field didn't clobber Butch Davis as he was trying to limp that car to the pits.
Yes. So that would be the caution there. The question now is what's going on with Sam. So I think Sam might have throughputed here. Time will tell. So we're about to start lap 115 of 140. We are currently under our 12th caution of the evening.
Sam just disappeared.
Yeah, he's been gone for like the last lap or two, so I'm wondering if he is throughputed. Currently sitting 2 laps down.
No. Oh.
What happened?
Oh no. Well. Yeah, that's what got him.
He throughputed?
No, there's an incident limit.
Oh no.
Yeah, and unfortunately with that Butch Davis spin, that caught Sam and put him over the limit.
Incident limit, by the way, is 17x. And for those of you who are new to iRacing, the incidents are 1 for off track, 2 for losing control of your car, 4 for car contact.
And 2 for hitting a wall.
Yes, 2 for wall contact. Add those up, and Sam has hit the incident limit tonight, so he has been disqualified.
One-way trip to Dairy Queen.
Yep, from the session, so he will fall at least to 20th. Might be his final landing spot down the order.
I don't think he's going to go that far.
Well, we've got
Because the 81 is
oh,
left.
it's 25 laps to go.
Yeah.
He's already
And there's
3
not a lot
laps
of cars still running.
but he's already. Oh no, he won't. No, he won't fall that far actually. Probably to 15th might be the lowest. he goes.
Yeah, that's safe.
15th or 16th because Bergelli and McFadden are both 8 laps down.
Those are the only 2 still running below him. So
John Fries has not called it a night yet either. He's 9 laps down in 18th, so 17th might be the absolute bottom for him.
Yeah, John Fries has 15 incident points.
So he's 1 spin out away from
Yes, he is.
being parked tonight as well. Lights, I believe, are out on the safety. No, they're not. Yeah, no, they're not. So we're still pacing here. Ten cars on the lead lap. Scott Brinson, Michael Sturgill, Nate Siefker, Paul Crumry, Jeff Hollingsworth, Kevin O'Brien, Jeff Upker, Chris Walker, Timothy Bates, and Ernie Ludwig are the top 10. Ludwig coming out of pit lane now, and he's been to pit lane tonight, I think, more than anybody else. Just trying to stay out of the mess.
He has gone through quite a few front wings.
And that'll also do it. I believe Timothy Bates might be making a trip to the lane now.
He's going to have to hurry because that's about to close.
That is Timothy Bates on the access road, entering pit lane right now. He might get in just before it closes. Butch Davis, the only car one lap down. He has shown speed tonight, qualified in 4th. So if he can get back on the lead lap, he can be a force to be reckoned with in this race. Dan Brazington sitting in 12th right now, the only car 2 laps down, so he's locked into his position. As I believe we only have 12 cars running on track right now. And a couple of
I
guys,
got 13.
Who's your 13th?
Oh, wait, no, never mind, because Bergelli has used his second fast repair, so he's out. Never mind.
Yeah, Bergelli's still sitting in pit lane. John Fry is still sitting in pit lane. So there's 2 guys still sitting in pit lane that haven't officially called it a night, but there are only 12 cars running on track. As we're about to start lap 119, pace car is off, and here we go again.
Brinson leads the way. Sturgill right in his slipstream as they try to get some distance between themselves and Nate Siefker, who's made it back up into 3rd. Paul Crumry currently right now battling hard and heavy with Jeff Hollingsworth as they work their way into turn 3.
I don't know if you saw it, but Hollingsworth with a little bit of a wiggle going into turn 3 on that inside line. And that will allow Crumry to keep that 5th position. A little bit further back, Jeff Lubker trying to put the fight to, I believe that is Butch Davis, it was. As Lubker...
Davis is a lap down, though.
Yes, Davis is 1 lap on, but Lubker's biggest...
And we got a battle for the lead. Sturgill tries it, doesn't get it, coming off a 2 as Brinson able to throw the block, and now Sturgill's got to work with Siefker. And here comes Crumry.
And that's the problem sometimes with making a move. Sometimes your attack quickly becomes a defense. And fortunately for Sturgill, he'll make it out okay, but Crumry now has to deal with Siefker, and that'll put an end to Siefker's night as he was flipping through the wall. And once again, I was about to mention it before you had brought the attention back up to the front. Second time tonight, Lubker has caught a car to the aero screen.
So did Ernie Ludwig.
Caution, Lumber, Lucky 13. And that will put an end to Nate Siefker's night. He has already used the fast repair. So Nate Siefker's night ends with wheel-to-wheel contact with Paul Crumry going through turns 1 and 2. Try to see what happened, and It looked like just as Siefker was getting his run, Crumry was getting his run to come up and off the corner. And unfortunately, Tony, they met in just the same patch of asphalt at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it from different angles, and you know, you go back to what Kevin O'Brien saw, and or not Kevin O'Brien, I'm sorry, Chris Walker. Who the hell was behind him? Hollingsworth. You go from like a chopper cam on Hollingsworth, and Siefker took a really weird line through 1 and 2.
I would assume to try to straighten line out of 2 as quick as he can, as best he can, to get that speed down the back.
Yeah, the only problem is Paul Crumry's car was already there.
Yeah.
And what you saw was, you know, it wasn't that Crumry hip checked him. It was Siefker just ran over the rear wheels of Crumry.
So one of the heavy favorites here tonight, Nate Siefker, started in 3rd position. The winner, the runaway winner last week at Spa-Francorchamps. Coming up short here tonight. That will leave now just 11 cars of the 26 we started with tonight running, and we have my goodness, we got 16 laps to go.
And we can see daylight.
I think we saw it definitely at the start of the race, and I think if you look up and over the road signs there, it might be coming back.
Well, the question is, can we get those 15 laps in under 20 minutes?
Yeah, we ran, well, they have a half hour technically. We ran into this issue last night in the Western States Racing League. 134 laps, hit the hour and 40-minute time limit. It goes by the official race time. So, Tony, if you're looking on the timing and scoring right now, how it says an hour and 50 minutes for Brinson, he's going to cross the line. That'll be like, what, an hour and 51, 30, hour 52 minutes, essentially. That's the race, that's the time that they're going off of, not the elapsed time in the session, which is an hour and 56 minutes now.
Oh, I know.
Maybe the viewers at home will know.
But you
Well, now
just
they do.
explained it marvelously, and I do appreciate that, sir.
Comes with...
And
that
Scott
comes with
Brinson's
dealing
mom
with it
said he could
last
become
night.
anything he wanted to, so we decided to become a pace truck.
He's been the pace car essentially for a majority of this race tonight. Minus that one pit stop he took, he has been out in front for a vast majority of this race, losing the lead only momentarily to Michael Sturgill and Nate Siefker. So Scott Brinson in the 14 started on the pole, has been on a roll tonight.
And you know who else is on a roll? The boys over at Teespring are on a roll when they're coming up with new products for us to sell. You can get your very own Top Fuel Racing as presented by ESBN t-shirt, hoodie, tank top, face mask, coffee mug, throw pillow, teddy bear, whatever you want, we'll make it happen. Just let us know what you're looking for. Go ahead and throw it in the chat. If you want something, you don't see it in our Teespring store, go ahead and ask us about it. We'll see what we can do for you.
Without a doubt. And also, if you live in the
Continental
United
United
States. It is if you use the promo code ESBN 20, you get free shipping in the continental United States. And I'm not sure if we've tested this or not. I'm not sure if that promo code is case sensitive. If it is, it's all uppercase, ESBN 20 being the promo code.
Unfortunately, I have not purchased yet, as the pace truck is in. Brinson pulls the trigger, and we are back underway
Green, green, green.
with 13 laps to go.
Getting down to the end of it. Less cars and less opportunities for caution number 15 of the night. As Brinson jumps out to a lead on Michael Sturgill. Paul Crumrye, we saw a couple about 20 or so laps ago. He was falling back. He was letting a lot of guys through. He's showing his pace now. As the guys go through turns 1 and 2. Jeff Hollingsworth looking to put some pressure on Paul Crumrye. And also here comes Chris Walker. It wasn't but 15 laps ago. Chris Walker was 2 laps down. He's now sitting in the 5th position. He's got one of the fast cars as Michael Sturgill goes for the lead here on Scott Brinson, but Brinson, with it wound up on the outside lane, is able to keep it. Coming through turn 4, Chris Walker is able to get around Jeff Hollingsworth, so showing the speed in that number 23. Close racing in the back there. Jeff Lumpker, Ernie Ludwig, Timothy Bates, Bush Davis. They sort themselves out now. Kevin O'Brien is the car splitting these 2 groups. Sitting in the 6th position, so 5 cars up at the front, and they are spreading out here. And 8 laps to go as we cross the line. This is the battle for 3rd position. Chris Walker on Paul Crumrye.
Yeah, good friends, and we got a battle for the lead too as Sturgill throws it to the inside on Brinson.
When he pushed up, coming out of 2, same thing with Crumrye. So that battle for 3rd is still hot. Now here's Jeff Hollingsworth wanting a bit of this action. The 2nd group now is brought up as Timothy Bates, who was just flipping in turn 1, is now coming up into 6th position and coming with some speed.
Absolutely, as we are currently working lap 134, and you heard that right, 134 of 140. So coming up on 6 laps to go here across the stripe.
Bates on Hollingsworth. That's for 5th position. Can't get it done going into turn 1. Just behind him, Kevin O'Brien with Butch Davis on him, and that's going to allow Jeff Walker to look under. Bates now will take 5th position as we come down to 5 laps to go.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, it's come down to the cream of the crop right now. It's, you know, these are the guys that they're normally around at the end of the race. The guys that just overdrive the hell out of their cars, they're not around when it comes time to go. And these guys are the ones that it's time to go.
4 laps to go. Top 3 have remained the same. Scott Brinson, Michael Sturgill. Here goes Sturgill for the lead. He'll dive it down, and he hits Scott Brinson. Brinson's in the wall. Hits Timothy Bates. I would have to assume this is going to be a manual caution here from Tony.
Yellow flag is out.
Yep.
And there it is. Caution is out, and that will leave Chris Walker with the race lead. But Scott Brint, who has stayed clear out of trouble all night long, is victimized by one dive from Michael Sturgill. And Tony, we've seen it last couple laps, and we even saw it earlier in the race. Sturgill takes a very sharp exit out of 2 right to the wall. And earlier in this race, almost clipped the wing of Scott Brinson. And this time, he got the job done. And with no green-white checkers, that will end this race. And it will end it as it started, behind the safety truck. So your final order here tonight will be Chris Walker, Michael Sturgill, Jeff Hollingsworth will be the 3 we'll hear from. And Tony, if you're here, well, are you here? That's the question.
Do I have to be?
I was just going to say, I don't know what the heck we're going to ask these guys. It's hard to ask a lot of the racing questions that you would ask when, 50, even more? Not even 50, maybe 100 of the laps of this race were run under caution.
I'm gonna make an executive decision here. We are going to interview the top 3. Actually, we're going to just congratulate the top 3. No interviews tonight, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, as white flag is out. I'm not seeing where it says we're going GWC, so white flag is out.
Yeah, this is it.
So your final running order is going to be Chris Walker, Mike Sturgill, Jeff Hollingsworth, Jeff Wubker, O'Krumrai, rounding out your top 5. Butch Davis, Kevin O'Brien, Tim Bates, Ernie Ludwig, and Dan Brazington rounding out your top 10.
That's rounding out the cars that actually were driving at the finish.
Scott Brinson being scored in 11th. Nate Siefker in 12th. Sam Cooper Bennett in 13th. Luis Gonzalez Nunez being scored in 14th. Mark McFadden in 15th. Rigelli being scored in 16th. Carlos Ruiz being scored in 17th. John Fry in 18th. John Bowling in 19th. Ronnie Osmer in 20th. 21st being scored to Carl Burke. Brad Truex in 22nd. Diego Romero Ruiz in 23rd. 24th going to Gavin Hibbs. Raul Alvarez in 26th, and Mark Walker in 25th for Raul, 26th for Mark Walker. So Chris Walker being, again, scored the winner. We are not going to do interviews. We are just going to give a good hearty congratulations to those who survived this. And you know, that's the biggest key when you've got a big field like we had tonight. Yes, it was great to see 26 cars show up, but this
look at what we got.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that the race control team is going to need to discuss sometime later this week, because there is way too much shenanigans going on. But again, congratulations, Chris Walker. Congratulations to Mike Sturgill for getting a podium. Congratulations to Jeff Hollingsworth for he started 17th and was able to survive a ton of melees, and I believe he only got only one contact. So of the cars that were still running, Hollingsworth was I'm sorry, Hollingsworth and Brazington were the only two to have 4X or less tonight.
And also,
nope, I take that back. Kevin O'Brien with 2.
And Paul Crumry, the biggest mover of the race, finishing in 5th after starting in 23rd, having not put down a qualifying lap. So a very good job from him. As Chris Walker, the pure beneficiary of a mistake happening in front of him, takes the victory here tonight. I believe this is his first win of the season.
That would be, and I'm being told by someone that we are going to go to do interviews. So,
Okay.
Frank, I believe you've got our race winner, Mr. Chris Walker, with you now.
Hey, Chris Walker, Frank Marchese at ESBN, you got me?
I got you.
It was a heck of a last lap. We can say that. What did you see out of your cockpit as to what happened between Sturgill and Brinson?
Well, from my viewpoint, it looked like Scott was going high, and that was a great line to run for Scott. And Michael was taking the low line, but it looked like Scott was going to come around the outside on him, and Michael wasn't going to be able to maintain that spot. So it was almost a question of whether or not he was going to either defend me or attack Scott. And in that thought process, it looked like he just drifted right up into Scott. And fortunately, I backed out. I had enough room to get by, but it almost wiped the 3 of us out. And it's terrible that it took Scott out. It was really Scott's race. He dominated that whole thing. My hats off to Scott for putting on just such a commanding performance tonight.
I can't really ask you too much about long run pace, but what I can ask you is, about 30 laps to go. You were 2 laps down after being involved in a big wreck. Did you think the race was over, or were you just content with where you were at that point, or did you still think that there was a chance?
I really didn't believe that there was an honest chance to get a podium at least. I just kind of popped the Viagra and raced as hard as I could, put my head down and got my laps back.
We go to Watkins Glen next week. Now, you were strong at Spa-Francorchamps. Now, Tony, are they running the boot next week, or
I believe yes.
We are running
okay? So what are
classic course?
Classic with boot.
Without boot.
Without boot. Oh.
Correct.
Oh,
so
they're
no
okay,
bus
so
stop either.
Yeah.
Bus stop. It was a pretty good race last year.
So I'm assuming after the performance that you put on at Spa, I'm assuming you're pretty confident going into next week.
Well, I've got my reservations about it because there's some fast guys. I mean, which is pretty quick. Dan Brasington, he's been putting in a lot of practice, and he has been making leaps and bounds at that track. And Nate, he's super fast. He's super fast at all the road courses. I feel like I'm a bridesmaid to Nate when it comes to road courses. So just got to do enough to keep on him and maybe work out some strategy and maybe be able to take him on pit strategy.
All right, but anything you want to, any shout outs you want to give before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, I just want to give everybody at No Limit Racing a big hug and congratulations, team. That was we were all on the same strategy at the beginning, and then it kind of got broken up a little bit after the second or third yellow flag. But everybody at No Limit Racing and FBR, Scott, I feel so bad for Scott. Scott had that race locked. All he had to do was kind of defend a little bit. He just had a commanding race. I'd like to thank my wife for letting me do this stuff, and certainly you guys in there for putting on awesome broadcasts every week for us.
Well, thank you very much. And your winner tonight here, Chris Walker, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I believe Tony will be grabbing Michael Sturgill in here in just a second. Tony, I believe you have him now.
Yep, joining me now is Michael Sturgill. Mike, I know that wasn't the finish you wanted to have and it definitely wasn't the way you wanted to have it. But talk us through what happened from your standpoint to bring out that last caution.
Yeah, just dove it in there deep, trying to get past him. Had him cleared, started to slide up, saw he had a run, tried to lift, but it was just way too late, and I came up, he came down.
So, we saw you running towards the front just about all night long. Um, did you know that you had the speed to maybe go for it towards the end? Or were you just riding earlier, or did you know that you could try for the lead anytime?
In practice, I wasn't really one of the faster guys, but I was able to make passes. And was able to work the draft well. Once I got up front, the little runs that we had, it seemed like I could stay up front with the faster guys. And then on that long green flag run, I actually got the lead late and seemed to set sail. So that at that point, I really knew I could contend for a win.
All right, moving forward, we go to Watkins Glen next week. Your thoughts going to the home of Armco Barriers?
Not a big fan of road courses, but I would have to say my favorite one is Watkins Glen. So just gonna have to hop in and practice, and hopefully I can do well.
All right, fair enough. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go, sir?
All you guys that broadcast this and help run it, Scott, even though he's probably pretty angry right now, and all the drivers out here tonight.
All right, well, Mike, congratulations on the podium. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So that was Michael Sturgill. I'm sure we'll have Jeff Hollingsworth in here momentarily, as I believe we have him now. Jeff Hollingsworth, Frank Marchese in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing good. So I think after the way Paskey's ended and after the way the Western States race last night ended, this is a pretty nice bounce back here to finish on the podium.
Oh yeah. I mean, I race for fun, so it was fun. I mean, I've been in races with a lot less caution flags, but other than that, yeah, it was good.
Did you feel as though you had the pace to where you can get up and challenge once the car started to heat up and the tires started to heat up? Do you think you might have been able to put up a challenge with the top three?
No, I mean, I was top 5 probably, but I didn't have hardly any practice. I had some other stuff I had to do, so I probably ran like 5 laps of practice. I qualified poorly and just bid my time and made my way up there and hung out a little bit, and they wrecked a lot, and I ended up making up spots. I probably had like 2 or 3 passes total. The rest were just attrition.
Going to Watkins Glen next week, what are your thoughts about heading there?
I hope I don't have an incident in the first lap and go a lap down.
I'm sorry, okay?
Pit start. Pit start.
You know what?
It is.
I never said nothing because it could have been me, brother. And my biggest mistake was I didn't take the reset. I fixed the car and I lost a lap because I lacked confidence in myself that I would probably need the reset later, and I never did. But no, man, I mean, I still finished 11th. It wasn't a very big field, but I'm having fun. I hate it for Scotty, but congrats to Chris and Michael Sturgill, and all the guys at No Limit have been real supportive in me hanging out with them and stuff. So I appreciate them and you guys, and race on, fellers.
All right, but I would ask if you had anyone you wanted to thank, but I think you just did it there. So
Yeah.
we'll let you go, Jeff. Jeff Hollingsworth, our third place finisher here
Fellas,
tonight.
y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you. Tony, Jeff mentioned it. It was a war of attrition, not just for the guys on track, but for us as well. This was a long race. It felt like a long race, and as you pointed out over the broadcast, not indicative of the way this series usually handles itself.
I'm actually very surprised at how caution filled this race was, and I think a lot of it had to do with we've got so many new people in the league, and I never expected us to start 6 cars. I don't think anybody expected us to really start 26 cars tonight. But the fact that we had so many new names and so many names that haven't raced with us in a while, coming back tonight because it's Gateway and because Gateway usually puts on a good show with the Top Fuel Racing Series. This isn't Top Fuel. If this is your first time tuning into the Top Fuel Racing Series, don't judge tonight's performance at all. This was not
an outlier.
Yeah, this is definitely an outlier. This is not normal. Next week, you're probably going to see a little more normality come back with Top Fuel. And definitely in a couple of weeks when we go back to the bigger ovals.
Yeah, next week, as we've mentioned a couple of times over the last few minutes, we're going to Watkins Glen next week here for Top Fuel. I believe it's next week if they're not taking the week off for the Labor Day holiday.
I haven't heard anything yet that they're not, so stay posted to both our Facebook page, and if you want to follow Top Fuel Racing Series, you can find the Top Fuel Racing Series on their Facebook page for all the updates and information about the series. But yeah, as far as I know, we are running next week. It will be at the Glen, and from what Chris said, it's going to be the classic layout. So that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And we were just there, 2 weeks ago for the Die Hard Racing League on that classic layout. So this will be another event at Watkins Glen that we can look forward to. So right now, let's go to the finishing order here for tonight's race. Chris Walker, Michael Sturgill, Jeff Hollingsworth finish on the podium. You just heard from all three of them. Jeff Wubker, Paul Crumry, Butch Davis, Kevin O'Brien, Timothy Bates, Ernie Ludwig, and Dan Brazington round out the people who actually were running at the finish and the top 10. Scott Brinson, Nate Siefker, Sam Cooper Bennett, 11 through 13, Tony.
Luis Gonzalez Nunez coming home in 14th, 15th going to Mark McFadden, 16th was Karen Brigelli, Carlos Ruiz in 17th, John Fry in 18th, 19th we see John Bowling, Ronnie Osmer in 20th, Carl Burke for 21st, 22nd going to Brad Truex, Diego Romero Ruiz in 23rd. 24th going to Gavin Hibbs, Raul Alvarez in 25th, 26th, and your final starting spot was Mark Walker, first one to put it on the hauler tonight.
And that will put an end to our night here at Worldwide Tech Raceway at Gateway here on ESBN. For our producer, Kevin Conyu, for Tony Trapasso, I'm Frank Marchese. We'll see you next week when the Top Fuel Series heads to Watkins Glen, New York, right here on ESBN.